Hi, family. If you've been following Just Drawz since the beginning, you might know that we had an episode that was up for only about 12 hours. It was our fourth episode from season one, originally titled Just Flying the Friendly Skies. This is an audio only episode in our early format where we started with just topics, which was the pop culture, current event section, and then we followed that with a second section that was called Just Talk. This is where we had our discussions. So for this particular episode, the discussion was about dating another friend or acquaintance's ex. So we replaced the episode by chopping off the last half of it, which was the discussion part. So we replaced that with the episode that's titled Just Drawz, or Just the Draws of the House of Usher, which you can follow and listen to now. Why did we replace it? Well, it was at the request of one of our hosts. Taking down that episode was not without consequences, unexpected consequences, because now that we know a little bit more how YouTube works, they don't like it when you take stuff down. Our bad. So we were early in our show's development. We were getting a fair amount of views per each episode, like into hundreds, and we didn't really have that many subscribers to even match that. Since then, we've converted to video, of course, but we've never ever really gotten over that 100, even though we had that fewer subscriber amount. And I understand that there's different ways that YouTube sends and distributes your video to different channels and different users, but I digress. We learned. Since our production value has gone up, you think that, hey, we get more views and things like that. No, not the case. Oh well. So I digress. So while we were preparing for season 3, I pulled up that original episode, listened to it, and decided, hey, you know what? We may be able to do something with this. I talked to Darius, and he agreed. So we had good commentary. We had good comments. We made good points. We did not want to lose our points. We didn't want to do the subject exactly the same again. So what we've done is edited out some more of the personal information and details that was in that episode. And I think we have now something that's entertaining, shows each one of us our original points. That's me, Darius, Brandon, and Sean, and depersonalized it. So I hope you enjoy it. Get ready for the highly edited version of that discussion. I now present to you Just Dating Exes, the Lost episode.
Well, I was actually watching Todd Tucker had a segment. He has a YouTube show. It's called Todd and the Glam Squad. It's like him and Candy's Glam Squad. And so they sit there while
Candy Burris?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Candy Burris. Candy Burris gets her makeup and hair done, and her husband does this show. And I thought it was a really interesting conversation because it was about people dating their friends' exes. And I wanted to know how you guys felt about that. Who would like to go first?
So just like dating in general, like just.
I mean, I guess.
Okay.
Like.
So
Yeah.
so dating as far as relationship or just like smashing.
Well, dating already connotates something. And one of the things I wanted to bring up is that one of my friends from college pointed out, he was like, Black people don't date. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't date. We meet somebody, we start going hard on the situation instead of actually dating.
There's and I've said that to a bunch of people before, that like dating is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be getting to know people, not necessarily that. Now, what we tend to do is we tend to go straight for the exclusivity of it. Like, dating for us is, I'm with this person, and it's like, well,
right,
that's not really dating.
We like each other, so
and
we're a couple now.
Yeah. Right, yeah. As far as dating exes, I mean, if they're an ex, I don't have an issue with it. Like that it is what it is. Like if we have broken things off, whether it's amicable or not, then you go with God, and whatever happens as a result of that. If you end up meeting a friend of mine or something like that, and you go from that, then that's fine. I don't know that I've really been in a situation where an ex of mine has dated a friend of mine, but I mean, I can't see that being an issue for me as of right now.
Okay, well, I can say it's a hard stop. If anyone who I consider a friend entertains my ex, hard fucking stop. Zero gray area. Like, my ex is my ex, my friend is my friend. And it's because of the fact that I, like, how are we going to be sitting over here at Thanksgiving up here chilling, talking about X, Y, and Z when you're over here with my man, with my ex-man, I should say.
Oh, slip.
So I have a question.
Closer for comfort. Yeah.
Is this towards any ex or one particular ex in particular? Whatever anonymous name you want to give this person, but that person is off limits to anyone that's in your friend circle. But outside of that person, does that rule still apply? Is it for all exes or just that one?
See, and that's the difference. Tom may be off limits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Tom is the quote unquote Tom.
Yes, Tom may be off limits where there's no gray area. Mm-hmm. And it's all about, because my friend is not going to be bringing somebody who matters in my life to social gatherings.
Okay. All right. So I think we've got your point of view on this subject. Right. And even though I am not the moderator, I'm going to go ahead on and jump in here and kind of go about my business. So for me, in my opinion, I feel like once I am done with you, go forth, Godspeed, So if me and let me think of someone. Oh, I don't know anybody by this name. So if me and Trey break up. So in my situation, if me and Trey break up, I don't really care if someone goes on, because for me, my issue is more that I have moved on to bigger and better things. And so for me, that could be being single. Now, I can understand, hey, I've been attached to someone for this long. I don't have that connection with anyone where I feel like, oh, well, I can't believe that you're dating that person. My only thing with that is that if anybody were to date one of my exes, I don't want to be in the position where you're coming to me and giving me their issues or problems,
or asking a bunch of questions,
trying to get inside information, because as my friend, I probably already told you some of this stuff before this was even a thing. And I would like to think that enough time has passed between when I dated this person and you're coming on to this person that I'm so removed from it that I don't care. So for me, it's not so much of it's more so I don't want to be involved with this relationship, but I've probably moved on and I've got someone else and I'm happy with this person now. So, and there's no chance for it to be recovered again. So if the two of y'all go and ride off into the sunset, I'm okay with that. And I think older me or current me rather can deal with that. Younger me would probably not be able to deal with a situation like that, because I'd probably be more, well, I can't believe that you're still dating this person, but I don't feel like any of my exes are that I made any type of tie with where I would be upset that, any of my friends went and dated them. And it's just one of those things where I feel like all of us like different types, at least in the circle of just in the boundaries of this podcast. I don't think any of us, maybe one or two of us may have the same type of guy that we like. So it's kind of like a non-issue. But in the event that that was the case, I wouldn't blow up. It would definitely be awkward. I'm not taking that out of the equation. It would be an awkward situation. It would have some weirdness, if it's successful or unsuccessful. But I feel like
all the way
okay with it, but it just be one of those things where, I'm just going to be a little bit removed from the situation. Now, if y'all end up getting married, getting the white picket fence, the 2 dogs and the adopted children, then, and I'm invited over to the wedding and all this other stuff. Yeah, it's going to be weird. But like I said, hopefully I've got my own situation by the time that's going on. So it doesn't. Hopefully it's an issue. That's an issue. And even if it doesn't, I think I would still be happier alone than with someone that I don't want to be with anyway. And if my friend is happier with that person than I was with them, and I'm the training wheels and now they're off, riding the full.
Oh, hell nah. Hell nah.
Go ahead on and do y'all
not
thing.
A friend. Come on.
I'm not, but that's you.
Too close for comfort.
That's too close for you. But we've already talked about you on the subject. We know your stance. So we moved on.
Yeah, but like, how don't y'all get that?
It's no, I don't think any of us are disagreeing with your situation, but that's your situation. I'm talking about my situations and my life and my experiences. I don't have these are all hypothetical things. And so I'm not, let me finish. So these are all hypothetical situations. So it doesn't really exist. I can't say how I'm going to feel if this were to actually occur. But because I've talked about this several times in different conversations, if it's been Facebook or Reddit, where I kind of stand, I kind of feel like I at least have that as my grounding to kind of go back to. Now, I'm not saying that I won't flip out and be like, well, goddamn it, fuck you and fuck him too. Fuck both of y'all motherfuckers. I'm not going to say that I won't say that, but I feel like I'm at a space now where that would not be so much of a big deal. I'd end up being able to accept it just because once I'm done with someone, I'm really done with it. Like I just don't care no more. Like you can go do whatever you want to, and I'm really removed. And maybe that's just my personality. Maybe I've just had enough exes or situations or people that I didn't feel like were for me, or either appreciated me, or we just dissipated and went our separate ways. But I don't feel like, oh, if I can only be with Charles again, oh, if I can only be like, none of that is happening with me. Like once I'm done, I'm done. Now I'll still be cordial with you, but I don't care if you fucking someone else or moved on, or so none of that really matters to me, because I've moved on and working on the next thing. So if I know the person that you're with, even if it's, just on an acquaintance level and, not even really within the confines of our friendship, I'll be like, all right, well, do y'all, but that's me. I'm not saying anyone needs to agree with me, but that's my feelings.
It's the friendship level that is the issue.
So for me, relationships ebb and flow. And when I say relationships, if that's romantic or platonic, it's still going to ebb and flow.
Definitely can.
So that can mean like I may not see you exactly the same way again, but that may not necessarily be a negative thing, because it could be a temporary emotion of jealousy for me. If I saw you with that person, like I said, I'm still going to be realistic. I'm not saying that I would be okay with it just so I like it. Eventually, I'm probably going to get over it. It's not going to be that big of a deal, because only one or two things are going to happen. Either y'all going to crash and burn, and then it really doesn't matter in the end anyway, because the relationship wasn't successful, or y'all successful and y'all happy. So I'll be happy for both of y'all. It
depends
move on.
It depends on how you guys interact. Like, if you guys are all gonna be in the same space, that takes a different level of being like, okay, I'm gonna be okay with this.
Hey, Brandon is entitled to his feelings and all that, and I'm like, he putting it out there for you guys, but for me, I don't care. It's like if you can find fulfillment with somebody that I dated, or more an ex, not someone that I dated, no biggie, but an ex, it's like go for it, Life is hard enough. Knock yourself out.
That's it.
Yeah. It's just not that. Yeah. It's just
if
not.
it's an ex, like if it's an ex, like I think that the operative words here are ex and
dating,
knowing, like knowingly, like those are the two things that, like, if that's an ex and you're knowingly going after this person, you're knowingly dating this person, knowing that that's an ex. Okay, that might be some shaky ground there. But like,
and
if it's,
for me, it's what Jeff said. It's like I still wouldn't care, but you should come to me just to let me know. Don't just show up one day.
Right.
But otherwise,
that's where I would feel a sense of obligation or duty to be like, okay, well, this is so and so, and like I had no desire for any of this to happen the way that it did, or to head in that direction, but it's heading in that direction, and I like the way the direction that it's heading in. So let me say something, or if they don't say anything, that's different, so I can understand that.
Yeah. And I say, look, if you can find fulfillment there and it works, good on you.
And the other thing too is, as Brandon brought up earlier, I mean, the gay dating pool, especially the Black gay dating pool, is very small.
Yep.
Like it really is small.
Right.
You're going to run across people that you either know, you have fucked, or that you have been with.
Language.
And, I mean, you're gonna run into that.
I was going to say we are labeled as 18 plus, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So
I was just joking.
Yeah, no, but yeah, that's what happens. I mean, there have been instances where I have run across people on social media that I'm like, oh, I didn't know that they knew that person, or I didn't know that they knew that person. Like, even there was an instance one night years ago where Brandon and I were hanging out, and you came up to the group. You had gone outside and you came up to the group and you were like, hey guys, I met this guy outside, and he is like, he's attractive and he's dope as hell. He's going to come in and introduce himself to everybody, so we're all standing around like, okay, cool. He walks up. I know him. Now, I knew him.
I don't know who the hell that was.
Yeah, I knew him from college though. And so we had a completely different relationship. It wasn't a romantic relationship at all. It was just a friendship.
Wait, was it the dude who played on the band with you?
He was. Yeah, it was a guy that, not necessarily in mind, but we're actually fraternity brothers, and so I hadn't seen him since.
But like the band fraternity.
You also didn't. Yeah, this is that same dude.
Yeah. Because were you there, Sean?
I can't remember if I was there.
No, Sean was not there.
But we've talked about that.
Yeah. And so I remember what was interesting was he when I recognized who it was, I was like, oh, word. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, because I hadn't seen him again. I hadn't seen him since college.
And neither one of you, if I recall, recognized the other, because you both had changed significantly.
Initially, yeah, because when he said his name was when I recognized him. When I heard, I was like, wait, I only know one person by this name. And so
I can't even remember this man.
Yeah, I was like, what's your last name? And so he told me, and I was like, hey, did you play so-and-so, or did you play whatever? He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, this is so-and-so. So I had completely changed. I'm completely different than when I was in college. And so we exchanged phone numbers. And I remember one of our other mutual friends saw me and him exchange phone numbers, and he was like, did you just get his phone number? And I was like, yeah. I said, he's my frat brother. I said, that's it. I said, there was nothing else going on, because Brandon was interested. And so, that completely kind of fell off, because its communication is whack. So that was what it was. But that's kind of a situation where it's like, we run across people that everybody else knows, or people that you may have, oh, I know you, or I know you, or I've seen you before, So I went out to brunch during Memorial Weekend and was with a completely different group of people. And somebody else came to the brunch that I actually knew. And I was like, oh, okay. Hey, what's going on? And we went from there. Jeff and I have had a similar situation. Jeff went on a date or two with somebody years and years ago. I met him years and years later, and it was like, oh, hey, I met this guy. And he was like, oh, I know him. I was like, okay. So like this dating pool is very small.
A hot mess.
Yeah, it's very small.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, I wasn't even in the same city that I'm in now when I dated that person. Well, when we went on our dates, rather, even though that person is mobile. But yeah, so it goes back to, a lot of us have so many specifications and prerequisites when we date people that it kind of does, shrink every time, you try to go to Jack's or Grindr or just meet people organically, especially if you're in a city that has even a modestly sized black gay population. You're going to run into somebody that's then ran into somebody that's ran into somebody that's in your circle. It's just going to be one of those things that happens.
I want to go back to Jeff's inference there. Even though this guy was mobile, the unsaid part, and very friendly.
I mean, that's part of the job. So when I say mobile, it's nothing big deal. It's just a flight attendant.
There's an implication there, and he's very friendly.
That how the rumors of how flight attendants are. So we'll just, you can use your imagination to how that goes. But like Darius said, there was no love lost in that situation because it was years ago. We just went on a couple of dates and, that was it. It just did not go anywhere, beyond what it went out. Well, the two times that we went out. So, and again, it was years before we dated or went on those two dates, between the time that Darius had met him. So, I mean, there was no attachment anymore.
Yeah, and like he said, it wasn't even in the same. I mean, there was no way that I would have known because they weren't even in the same city. Like when he and I met, and I was like, oh, okay,
Was he friendly, Darius?
Yeah.
See.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, we still communicate periodically. Like it's not a. We we didn't go anywhere with it. But we still communicate. Actually, I might have spoken to him on social media maybe like a couple of months ago, maybe. So, but
maybe he'll move to the DMV and things will change. You never know.
Run into this person at the gym a couple of times. So yeah. So it's all good. Every time I see him, I get a hug. So I'm good.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Now be sure to like, share, and follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, and Spotify at Just Drawz. That's JustDrawz.